Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. Major Lucas Kane gripped the controls of the Vanguard, sweat beading on his forehead, dripping into his piercing blue eyes. The shrill wail of alarms cut through the air, blending with the violent shuddering of the Earth Alliance ship. The Vanguard hurtled through a swirling cosmic dust cloud, glinting silver, drawn inexorably by the gravity of an uncharted planet. "Come on, you piece of junk!" Lucas growled through clenched teeth, muscles straining against his safety harness. His fingers danced across the control panel, eyes scanning the crimson error screens. The AI's crackling voice blared through a damaged speaker, warning, system failure. Collision imminent. "Tell me something new!" Lucas snapped, yanking the manual controls. The engines whined weakly, powerless against the invisible pull. Through the viewport, a surreal sight emerged, shimmering crystal mountains, sprawling turquoise plains, and 3 pale purple suns casting an eerie glow. Beautiful, if Lucas wasn't about to become part of it. "Not today," he whispered, forcing the Vanguard to angle its descent. The display showed the distance, 8 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 4 kilometers, speeding like a bullet. "Mayday, Mayday! This is Major Lucas Kane, Vanguard, in distress at coordinates." The signal cut off, leaving him in chilling silence. Lucas closed his eyes, flashes of his mother and sister on Earth flickering through his mind, his mother's smile, his sister's handwritten letter. He snapped his eyes open, resolve burning. He hit the lifeboat release, no response. "Damn it!" Lucas slammed the console, rerouting power from auxiliary systems to the engines. A faint screech sounded, but it wasn't enough. The ground rushed up, glowing shrubs streaking past like comets. Lucas tightened his harness, jaw clenched. The Vanguard crashed, its nose plowing into the earth, skidding across the turquoise plain. Metal screamed, debris flying. The cockpit shook, a steel beam narrowly missing Lucas's chest. He clung to the controls, consciousness fading. Then darkness swallowed him. Awareness returned with the taste of blood and the acrid smell of scorched circuits. Lucas blinked, pain slicing through him. He touched his forehead, dried blood sticking to his fingers. "Still alive," he muttered, voice hoarse. Miraculously, nothing was broken, though his body ached. The cockpit was a wreck, consoles shattered, screens cracked, wires exposed. The reinforced command chair had saved him, shielding him from the collapsing ceiling. Lucas unbuckled his harness, wincing at the bruise on his chest. He shoved at the warped emergency hatch, forcing it open with his shoulder. Cool air rushed in, carrying a strange metallic tang and the scent of alien wildflowers. The gravity, lighter than Earth's, made his steps floaty, unsteady. Lucas stepped out, boots sinking into soft, faintly glowing soil. He turned to see the Vanguard, a massive scar across the turquoise plain, black smoke rising under the purple sky. Debris littered the ground, some smoldering, their orange glow stark against the planet's colors. He checked his gear. The emergency pack was intact, food, water, first aid. The plasma pistol at his hip still functioned, but his comms device only emitted static. Survival protocols demanded setting up camp, waiting for rescue. But Lucas knew no one would come soon. The Vanguard had been thrown light years off course by the dust vortex. He stood under the 3 purple suns, feeling the weight of cosmic isolation. A sharp, keening sound broke the silence. A cry for help, stifled. Lucas gripped his pistol, scanning the plane. The cry came again, more desperate. Instinct kicked in, and he moved toward the glowing shrubs, heart pounding. What he saw stopped him cold. A humanoid figure was trapped in a high-tech snare, glinting metallic cords binding their body. It was a woman, her pearlescent blue skin shimmering, her black hair gleaming like a galaxy. Her silver armor hugged her near-human form. Golden eyes widened in fear as they met his. She spoke, her voice melodic but unintelligible, then groaned as the snare tightened. Silver blood seeped from her wounds. Lucas raised a hand, signaling calm. "Easy, I won't hurt you." He knelt, studying the trap. Its mechanisms were complex, with blinking energy nodes, but not impossible. Don't move, he said, knowing she couldn't understand. He pointed at the trap, then himself, miming disassembly. She nodded faintly, her pained eyes flickering with hope. Lucas worked fast, fingers prying at the energy locks. With each second, more silver blood flowed. He bit his lip, focusing. After tense minutes, the final cord loosened with a click. The woman collapsed, crying out weakly. Easy now, Lucas said, catching her before she hit the ground. Her skin was warm, almost burning. Her wounds were deep, silver blood staining her armor. Without hesitation, Lucas lifted her, the low gravity making it effortless. Her head rested against his chest, her breathing faint. Through the glowing shrubs, he spotted shimmering structures, a settlement, their only hope. Hold on, he whispered, striding toward the light. The city emerged, curving towers glowing under the purple suns. As Lucas stepped onto a luminous stone path, the air erupted. 8 warriors surrounded him, their armor glinting, weapons trained on him. Halt, outsider! A voice barked in perfect English, startling Lucas. The leader removed his helmet, revealing deep blue skin and cold golden eyes. She needs help, Lucas said firmly, clutching her. I found her in a trap. The warrior's gaze was venomous. You touched a Kryon warrior! Death is your penalty! Lucas frowned. For saving her? Are you insane? The leader raised his weapon. Put Saria Velith down. Now! Lucas looked at her, Saria. Her golden eyes cracked open, meeting his. A spark of emotion flared, profound. Please comply, she whispered, her voice faint as a breeze. Consciousness returned with the coppery taste of blood and the stench of burnt circuits. Lucas Kane blinked, shaking off a haze of pain. His head throbbed, as if hammered. He touched his forehead, dried blood caking his fingers. Still alive, he muttered, voice raspy. Miraculously, no bones were broken, though his body felt pulverized. The cockpit was a ruin, consoles smashed, screens shattered, wires sparking. The reinforced command chair had saved his life, shielding him from the collapsed ceiling. Lucas unbuckled his harness, grimacing at the bruise on his chest. He forced the warped emergency hatch open with his shoulder. Cool air flooded in, laced with a metallic tang and the scent of strange wildflowers. The gravity, lighter than Earth's, made his steps float unsteady. Lucas stepped out, boots sinking into soft, faintly glowing soil. He turned to see the vanguard, a massive scar across the turquoise plain, black smoke billowing under the vibrant purple sky. Debris scattered the ground, some smoldering, their orange glow clashing with the 3 pale purple suns. He checked his gear. The emergency pack was intact: food, water, first aid. The plasma pistol at his hip still worked, but his wrist comms only hissed static. Survival protocols called for setting up camp, waiting for rescue. But Lucas knew rescue was years away. The vanguard had been flung light years off course by the cosmic vortex. He stood in the plain, under the eerie light, feeling the solitude of a castaway among the stars. All right, Kryon, he whispered, naming the planet. Let's see what you've got. A sharp, keening sound pierced the silence. A cry for help choked. Lucas gripped his pistol, scanning the plain. The cry rang out again, more desperate, from a cluster of neon-glowing shrubs. Instinct surged, and he moved swiftly, hand ready on the trigger. The shrubs brushed past, glowing underfoot. What he saw froze him. A humanoid figure was ensnared in a high-tech trap, glinting metallic cords binding their body. It was a woman, her pearlescent blue skin shimmering, her black hair gleaming like a galaxy. Her silver armor hugged her near-human form. Golden eyes widened in fear as they met his. She spoke, her voice melodic but alien, then groaned as the trap tightened. Silver blood seeped, staining her armor. Lucas raised a hand, signaling calm. Easy, I won't hurt you. He knelt, studying the trap. Its mechanisms were intricate, with blinking energy nodes, but not impossible. Don't move, he said, knowing she couldn't understand. He pointed at the trap, then himself, miming disassembly. She nodded faintly, her pained eyes flickering with hope. Lucas worked fast, fingers prying at the energy locks. Each second, silver blood pooled, faintly glowing on the ground. He bit his lip, focusing, sweat rolling down his forehead. The trap was sophisticated, but he'd disarmed bombs in war. This was no different. "Hold on," he muttered to both of them. After tense minutes, a click sounded, and the cords loosened. The woman collapsed, crying out weakly. "Easy now," Lucas said, catching her before she hit the ground. Her skin was warm, almost fiery. Her wounds were deep, silver blood soaking her armor. Without hesitation, Lucas lifted her, the low gravity making it effortless. Her head rested against his chest, her breathing faint. Through the glowing shrubs, he spotted shimmering structures, a settlement, their only hope. "Hold on," he whispered, striding toward the light. The path was uneven, glowing plants brushing his legs, casting light like beacons. Lucas held her tightly, steps steady despite his racing heart. The city emerged, curving towers like waves, glowing under the purple suns. Luminous stone paths sparkled under his boots. As he stepped onto one, the air exploded with movement. 8 Kryon warriors materialized, encircling him. Their dragon-scale armor shimmered, alien weapons trained on him. "Halt, outsider!" A voice barked in perfect English, startling Lucas. The leader, tall, removed his helmet, revealing deep blue skin and cold golden eyes. "She needs help," Lucas said firmly, clutching her. "I found her in a trap in the field." The warrior's gaze was venomous. "You touched a Kryon warrior! Death is your penalty!" Lucas frowned. "For saving her? Are you insane?" The leader raised his weapon. "Put Saria Velith down. Now!" Lucas looked at her, Saria. Her golden eyes cracked open, meeting his. A spark of emotion flared, profound, like an unspoken vow. "Please comply," she whispered, her voice faint as a breeze. Lucas reluctantly set her down, her hand brushing his, leaving a searing sensation. He stepped back as 2 warriors rushed forward, placing Saria on a glowing levitating device. Her eyes held his, golden and wordless, until they carried her away. "Major Lucas Kane, Earth Alliance," he declared, standing tall, voice firm. "My ship crashed. I answered her cry for help. Your identity is irrelevant," the leader snapped, voice icy. "You violated Kryon's supreme law. No outsider may touch our kind. The penalty is absolute." Rough hands seized Lucas, binding his wrists with living metal cuffs that bit into his skin. "This is absurd," Lucas growled, struggling as they dragged him. "Where I come from, people thank those who save lives, not kill them. Your world is why we have this law." A warrior sneered, voice dripping with contempt. "Humans always think themselves superior." They pulled him through the glowing streets, Kryon civilians staring, their eyes shifting from curiosity to horror. A blue-skinned elder yanked a child indoors, doors slamming shut. They led him to a massive fortress, its material like living glass, dark and imposing. His gear, emergency pack, pistol, was confiscated, leaving only his tattered flight suit. "The tribunal convenes at dawn," the leader said, shoving him into a cell. "Enjoy your final night, human." The door melded into the wall, leaving Lucas in darkness, lit only by faint blue light from the walls. He sat on a stone bench, running a hand through his disheveled brown hair, mind returning to Saria, her golden eyes, her warmth. Despite facing death, he felt no regret. "Worth it," he muttered, closing his eyes, her image filling his dreams. Lucas Kane worked meticulously, fingers dismantling the energy locks of the high-tech trap. Glinting metallic cords bound the woman, tightening with her every movement, cutting into her pearlescent blue skin. Silver blood seeped, pooling on the ground, faintly glowing under the purple suns. Lucas bit his lip, sweat rolling down his forehead, his blue eyes locked in absolute focus. The trap was sophisticated, but he'd disarmed bombs in combat. This was just another challenge. "Hold on," he muttered to both of them. The woman watched him, her golden eyes flickering with hope and pain. She spoke, her voice melodic but incomprehensible, then groaned as the trap constricted. "Don't move," Lucas said, his tone calming though he knew she couldn't understand. He pointed at the trap, then himself, miming disassembly. She nodded faintly, her breathing shallow. After tense minutes, a click sounded. The cords loosened, and the woman collapsed, crying out weakly. "Easy now," Lucas said, lunging to catch her before she hit the ground. Her skin was warm, almost fiery, sending a strange tingle through his hands. Her wounds were deep, silver blood soaking her sleek silver armor. Without hesitation, Lucas lifted her, the low gravity of Kryon making it effortless. Her head rested against his chest, her galaxy-like black hair brushing his arm. Her breathing was faint but steady, like a soft breeze. "Hold on," he whispered, scanning the turquoise plain. Through the glowing shrubs, he spotted shimmering structures, a settlement, their only hope. Lucas moved swiftly, boots sinking into soft soil, each step triggering faint glows. The shrubs brushed his legs, casting light like beacons. His heart pounded, not just from her weight, but from a premonition of what lay ahead. The city of Kryon emerged like a dream, towers curving like waves, made of living glass, glowing brilliantly under the 3 purple suns. Luminous stone paths sparkled under his boots, reflecting light into faint rainbows. Lucas took a deep breath, steadying himself. "Almost there," he said softly, though he knew she couldn't hear. As he stepped onto the paved path, the air exploded with motion. 8 Kryon warriors materialized, encircling him in an instant. Their dragon-scale armor shimmered, shifting colors with the light, their alien weapons, glowing metal tubes, aimed at him. Lucas stood still, clutching the woman, heart racing but hands steady. "Halt, outsider!" A voice boomed in perfect English, startling Lucas. The leader, towering, removed his helmet, revealing deep blue skin and golden eyes sharp as blades. His scarred face was stern. "She needs help," Lucas said firmly, voice like steel, holding her tighter. "I found her in a trap in the field." The warriors exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of disgust and alarm, as if he'd committed an unforgivable sin. "You touched a Kryon warrior!" The leader snarled, stepping forward, weapon aimed at Lucas's chest. "This act warrants execution." "Execution?" Lucas frowned, voice defiant. "For saving her? What kind of life do you people lead?" He tightened his grip, feeling her faint breath against his chest. The leader raised his weapon higher, light flaring from the tube. "Put Saria Velith down and step back." "Now!" Lucas looked at her, Saria, in his arms. Her golden eyes cracked open, meeting his. A wordless emotion flared, profound, like a silent vow. "Please comply," she whispered in halting English, her voice faint as a breeze but heavy with meaning. Lucas hesitated, his gaze locked on hers. Her hand brushed his arm, leaving a searing sensation, like electricity through his skin. Reluctantly, he knelt, setting Saria gently on the glowing stone path. Her fingers lingered on his, stretching the moment, making his heart race. As he stepped back, 2 warriors rushed forward, lifting Saria onto a glowing levitating device. Her eyes held his, golden and wordless, until they carried her away, vanishing behind a shimmering tower. Lucas stood tall, fist clenched, suppressing his anger. "Major Lucas Kane, Earth Alliance," he declared, voice ringing in the still air. "My ship crashed. I answered her cry for help. Your identity is irrelevant," the leader snapped, voice icy. "You've violated Kryon's supreme law. No outsider may touch our kind. The penalty is absolute." Rough hands seized Lucas, binding his wrists with living metal cuffs that bit into his skin. "This is absurd," Lucas growled, struggling as they dragged him. "Where I come from, people thank those who save lives, not kill them. Your world is why we have this law." Another warrior sneered, voice dripping with contempt. "Humans always think themselves superior." They pulled him through the glowing streets, Kryon civilians staring, their eyes shifting from curiosity to horror. A blue-skinned elder yanked a child indoors, doors slamming shut. Whispers rose, like wine through the towers. Lucas kept his head high, eyes scanning the city, each tower a work of art, but cold, distant. They led him to a massive fortress, its material like living glass, dark and imposing. His gear, emergency pack, pistol, was confiscated, leaving only his tattered flight suit. "The tribunal convenes at dawn," the leader declared, shoving him into a cell. "Enjoy your final night, human." The door melded into the seamless wall, leaving Lucas in darkness, lit only by faint blue light from the walls. He sat on the cold stone bench, running a hand through his disheveled brown hair, mind returning to Saria, her golden eyes, her fiery warmth, her electrifying touch. Despite facing death, he felt no regret. "Worth it," he muttered, fists tightening. Saving her wasn't just instinct, it defined him, a human from Earth, where compassion transcended all boundaries. Lucas closed his eyes, Saria's image filling his mind, her golden gaze a beacon in Kryon's darkness. Lucas Kane was dragged through the shimmering streets of Kryon, wrists throbbing under the bite of living metal cuffs, sharp as blades. Civilians paused, their gazes flickering between curiosity and horror. A blue-skinned elder yanked a child indoors, doors slamming shut. Whispers rose, like wind hissing through the sinuous towers. Lucas kept his head high, piercing blue eyes scanning the city, each tower a work of art, yet cold, distant. The Kryon warriors, their dragon-scale armor glinting, shoved him toward a colossal fortress, its living glass surface dark and imposing. Light from the 3 purple suns reflected off it, casting razor-sharp beams. They stripped him of his emergency pack and plasma pistol, leaving only his tattered flight suit. "The tribunal convenes at dawn," the leader declared, voice like ice. "Savor your final night, human." They thrust him into a cell, the door melding seamlessly into the wall, leaving Lucas in an empty void. A single stone bench served as a bed, frigid under his touch. Faint, ethereal blue light emanated from the walls, dim but enough to see. Lucas sat, running a hand through his disheveled brown hair, the bruise on his chest stabbing with each breath. His mind drifted to Saria, her blazing golden eyes, her fiery skin, her electrifying touch. Even facing death, he harbored no regrets. Saving her was instinct, the essence of who he was, a human from Earth, where compassion trumped all laws. "Kryon," he muttered, voice hoarse. "You're wrong." He leaned against the wall, closing his eyes, Saria's image flooding his mind. Her pearlescent skin, her galaxy-like black hair, her eyes carrying a silent promise. He slipped into a dream where she stood under the purple suns, calling his name in a melodic whisper. A faint sound snapped him awake, a scrape against the seamless wall. Lucas sprang up, muscles taut, ready to fight. He held his breath, eyes locked on the wall. A ripple passed through it, like disturbed water. The wall parted, and a figure slipped inside, moving with ghostly grace. "Saria," Lucas whispered, recognizing the shimmering black hair glinting in the dark. Her golden eyes burned like flames. She pressed a finger to her lips, signaling silence. Clad in sleek battle armor that hugged her form, she stirred emotions Lucas fought to suppress. Her wounds were healed, only faint silver scars remaining. "You risked your life for me," she said softly, her melodic voice firm despite halting English. She handed him a small, glowing blue gem-like device. "Now it's my turn to break the law to save you." Lucas took the device, feeling it hum faintly in his hand. "This is dangerous, Saria," he said, eyes locked on hers. She stepped closer, her breath carrying the scent of metal and wildflowers. "Dangerous," she whispered, "but right." Her gaze was profound, piercing his soul. Lucas swallowed hard, heart pounding. "Why, Saria?" She touched his chest lightly, her fingers leaving a searing sensation. "Because you saw me, not a stranger, but a life worth saving." Her voice trembled, her skin's glow intensifying, mirroring her emotions. Lucas grasped her hand, feeling her rapid pulse. "You know this is forbidden, don't you?" Saria's faint smile held, her hand staying in his. "Forbidden makes it mean more." They stood in the dim blue light, inches apart, breaths mingling. Lucas ached to pull her close, but a sound from the corridor shattered the moment. Saria spun, eyes sharp. We must go. This device, a phase key, unlocks all barriers, but only for 30 minutes. Lucas nodded, gripping the gem tightly. Lead the way. Saria glided to the wall, touching it. It rippled, opening to a dark corridor, blue lights flickering from the ceiling. They moved swiftly, footsteps nearly silent. Lucas stayed close, her warmth a guiding flame. Twice, they ducked into shadows, pressing close as patrols passed, their weapons glinting. Saria's breath grazed his cheek, quickening his pulse. The corridor trembled, an alarm shrieking. They know you're gone, Saria whispered, gripping his hand tighter. She led him through a spiraling staircase, descending deeper into the fortress. The glider's in the hangar, she said, eyes scanning. If we reach it, we have a chance. Lucas nodded, resolve burning in his eyes. You lead, I follow. They raced through the final corridor, the phase key opening a path to the cool night air. Ahead lay a glowing forest, where Saria had hidden the glider. But before they could reach it, blinding light erupted. A Kryon warrior squad blocked their path, weapons trained. Saria Velith! A voice roared. You betray Kryon! Lucas pushed Saria behind him, raising his hands. She's saving me. Don't hurt her. But Saria stepped forward, golden eyes defiant. I chose this path. Saria held the glowing blue gem, her golden eyes sweeping the cell. This is a phase key, she said softly, her melodic voice urgent. It bypasses every barrier in the fortress, but only for 30 minutes. Lucas Kane grasped the device, feeling it pulse like a living heart. He looked deep into her eyes, heart racing. Why risk so much, Saria? She stepped closer, her breath laced with burnt metal and wildflowers, her blue skin shimmering in the faint light. Because you saw me not as an outsider, she whispered, but as a life worth saving. No one on Kryon has done that. Her hand touched his chest, sending an electric jolt through him, making him catch his breath. And because I feel you, beyond any law. Lucas took her hand, sensing her rapid pulse beneath her warm skin. You know this is forbidden, right? Saria's faint smile lingered, her hand unmoving. Forbidden, she whispered. Makes it truer. They stood inches apart, the fortress's blue light illuminating her face, accentuating her golden eyes. Lucas couldn't hold back, pulling her into his arms. Their kiss was tentative at first, then fierce, a blazing fire dispelling Kryon's darkness. When they parted, Saria's eyes darkened, her skin glowing as if reflecting her emotions. We must go, she said, voice hoarse, yanking him back to reality. Lucas nodded, clutching the phase key. Saria led him from the cell, touching the gem to the wall. It rippled, opening to a dark corridor, blue lights flickering overhead. They moved swiftly, footsteps nearly silent. Lucas stayed close, her warmth a guiding flame. Twice they hid in shadows, pressed together as Kryon patrols glided by, weapons gleaming. Saria's breath brushed his cheek, both trembling with suppressed desire. An alarm screeched, shaking the corridor. Red lights flashed, metal boots pounding. They know you're gone, Saria whispered, gripping his hand tighter. She navigated the fortress's maze, the phase key unlocking each wall, but time was slipping away. 15 minutes left, she said, glancing at her wrist panel. They raced down a spiraling staircase, deeper, where the air grew heavy with metal and energy. The glider's in the hangar, Saria said, voice urgent. If we reach it, we have a chance. Lucas nodded, resolve blazing in his blue eyes. You lead, I follow. They sprinted through the final corridor, the phase key opening to the cool night air. Ahead lay a glowing forest, trees shimmering like neon, where Saria had hidden the glider, a teardrop-shaped craft, glinting like a jewel. But blinding light flared, shattering their hope. A Kryon warrior squad blocked the path, their dragon-scale armor shimmering, weapons trained. Saria Velith! A voice roared, razor-sharp. The leader, deep blue-skinned, with golden eyes like daggers, stepped forward. You betray Kryon's blood! Lucas pushed Saria behind him, raising his hands, heart pounding but voice firm. She's trying to save me. Don't hurt her. Saria stepped forward, golden eyes resolute. No, I chose this path. She stood before Lucas, silver armor gleaming, defying the squad. The air was taut, like a drawn bowstring. Lucas gripped the phase key, ready to act. A distant explosion rocked the night, black smoke rising from the fortress, red light staining the sky. My allies, Saria whispered, lips curving faintly. They're causing a distraction. Shouts and pounding boots echoed from the fortress, diverting the warriors' attention. Lucas seized her hand. Run! They plunged into the forest, glowing branches brushing them, casting light like beacons. The warriors roared, firing blue energy bolts that shredded trees. Lucas yanked Saria aside, dodging a blast, rolling down a slope, glowing dust clinging to them. They leaped onto the glider, Saria activating it with a touch. The craft screamed to life, rocketing over the treetops, soaring through the forest under the three purple suns. Lucas clung to the seat, watching Saria pilot, her black hair whipping in the wind. They'll pursue us, he said, voice steady. Saria nodded, eyes fixed on the controls. They will. But I know a place they won't find. The glider dove into a canyon, crystal cliffs reflecting light into rainbows. Lucas watched her, heart pounding from adrenaline and something deeper. Thank you, he said softly. Saria glanced at him, golden eyes flashing. We're not safe yet, human. But her smile said otherwise. Saria piloted the glider through a narrow canyon, crystal cliffs reflecting the three purple suns' light into dazzling rainbows. Lucas Kane gripped the seat, impressed by her precision as she wove through jagged stone, the craft trembling but steady. Wind howled through the canopy, Saria's galaxy-like black hair streaming behind her. Where are we going? Lucas asked, voice cutting through the engine's roar. The Quartz Temple. Saria replied, golden eyes locked on the controls, fingers darting. An ancient place, forgotten by Kryon. It can contact your people. Lucas nodded, scanning the glittering cliffs. Her urgency was palpable, as if time itself was their enemy. The glider landed softly near a massive structure, crystal pillars rising from the earth, glowing like icy flames. The air was cool, heavy with the scent of ancient stone and strange wildflowers. Lucas followed Saria inside, boots echoing on the polished crystal floor. Wall reliefs shimmered, telling stories through intricate carvings. Kryon ships soaring among stars, trading with alien beings, then war. Ships shattered, cities aflame. The Great Betrayal, Saria said softly, touching a relief, her fingers tracing a fallen Kryon. An alliance of species promised peace but betrayed us. Kryon sealed itself from the cosmos after that. Her voice was heavy, golden eyes dimming. Lucas stepped closer, resting a hand on her shoulder. Not everyone's an enemy, Saria. She turned, her gaze softening, sparkling like the crystal. I know, she whispered. Because of you. A figure emerged from the shadows, startling Lucas, his hand tightening on the phase key. Saria gasped. Father! A tall man, deep blue-skinned, with golden eyes like Saria's, stood imposingly. He wore battle armor but no weapons, his stern face marked with silver scars. Terran Velith, he introduced, voice deep, eyes sweeping over Lucas. I tracked you via the glider's beacon. But I'm not here to capture you. Lucas frowned, unease stirring. Then what do you want? Terran stepped forward, crystal light glinting off his armor. We need this human, he said firmly. Your presence, Lucas Kane, is the catalyst to change Kryon. Saria's eyes widened. Father, what do you mean? Terran raised a hand, a holographic image appearing, showing Kryons gathering in secret. I lead the Quartz Assembly, he revealed. We seek to reopen Kryon to the cosmos, to abolish the ban on outsiders. You, Lucas Kane, are proof that law is flawed. Lucas stood frozen, mind reeling. He'd only wanted to save Saria, not be drawn into a plot to reshape a civilization. I'm no hero, he said, voice hard. I just did what was right. Terran's rare smile flickered. That's why you're necessary. Saria grasped Lucas's hand, her golden eyes resolute. Father's right. You've changed me. Before they could plan further, an explosion shook the temple, crystal dust cascading. A Kryon warrior squad stormed in, armor gleaming, weapons trained. Leading them was a young man, blue-skinned, with golden eyes blazing hatred. Kale! Saria cried. Traitor! Kale, her brother, roared, aiming his weapon at Lucas. You, outsider, dare corrupt her! Saria leaped to shield Lucas, her silver armor flashing. Kale, you don't understand! She shouted, eyes pained. Kale raised his weapon, voice trembling with rage. You chose him over Kryon! Battle erupted. Terran drew an energy sword, deflecting Kryon blasts. Saria landed a kick, sending a warrior sprawling. Lucas, unarmed, backed toward a crystal pillar, searching for a way to help. He spotted an ancient control panel, faintly blinking. Hold on! He yelled, slamming it. A piercing hum rang out, the crystal pillars emitting blue energy waves, paralyzing the Kryon squad, including Kale. They collapsed, their armor dimming. Saria, panting, turned to Lucas. How did you? Luck! He shrugged, but his eyes burned with resolve. Terran pulled them toward a hidden exit. Kale won't stop, he said, voice low. He's sworn to hunt you. Lucas clasped Saria's hand, feeling her warmth. He'll have to try harder. Saria's faint smile shone, her golden eyes flickering with hope. They fled into the glowing forest, the three purple suns guiding them, carrying the Quartz Temple's secrets, and the weight of a world's transformation. Lucas Kane and Saria Velith huddled in a crystal cave, light from a glowing stream casting shimmering patterns on the walls. Saria's pearlescent blue skin sparkled, faintly glowing, reflecting the intense emotions in her blazing golden eyes. They sat close, breaths mingling, catching their strength after their desperate escape. Lucas's heart raced, not just from danger, but from her nearness. Saria's fingers brushed his hand, warm and electric, leaving a tingling sensation. I've never felt this, she whispered, her melodic voice trembling. On Kryon, we bond for life. One touch, and you're part of me. Lucas gazed into her eyes, seeing a universe in their golden depths. He pulled her close, their lips meeting in a deep, slow yet fierce kiss, a flame igniting in the darkness. Light from Saria's skin spread to him, etching faint silver patterns on his arm, a mark of something miraculous. When they parted, Lucas gasped, awestruck. You've changed me too, he said, voice hoarse, eyes fixed on the glowing patterns. Saria's faint smile was serious. This isn't just emotion, she said, touching the patterns on his arm. Our bioenergy has merged, enhancing each other's abilities. An ancient evolutionary trait, forbidden on Kryon. She raised her hand, and a small crystal in the cave glowed, vibrating at her will. Because of you, I control crystals better. Lucas frowned, mind reeling. Evolution? You mean we're physically linked? Saria nodded, her glow intensifying. Kryon fears this union with outsiders. It defies their laws. Lucas clasped her hand, feeling a strange strength flow through him. Their laws are wrong, he said firmly, blue eyes flashing. Saria squeezed his hand, her golden eyes shimmering with hope. We'll prove it. The moment shattered as metal boots echoed outside the cave. Saria sprang up, silver armor glinting. Kale, she whispered, eyes sharp. Lucas stood, heart pounding. He's persistent. Red light from Kryon weapons flared at the entrance. Saria Velith! Kale's voice roared, thick with hatred. You can't hide! Lucas pulled Saria behind him, scanning for an exit. The cave had one way out, blocked by Kale and his patrol. Saria touched the crystal wall, murmuring. The crystals blazed, vibrating fiercely. Hold on! She shouted. Lucas wrapped his arms around her as she struck the wall. A deafening crash erupted, the cave wall collapsing, crystal shards sealing the entrance. Glowing dust coated them, sparkling like snow. Run! Saria yelled, pulling Lucas through a narrow crevice. They burst into the glowing forest, branches brushing them, shining like neon. Pursuit echoed, Kale and his soldiers smashing through the rubble, his furious shouts drowning the wind. Lucas held Saria's hand, breath ragged. He won't quit, will he? Saria glanced at him, golden eyes flashing. Kale's my brother. He thinks he's protecting Kryon. Lucas frowned but didn't press, focusing on running. They aimed for the vanguard, hoping to repair its comms to call Earth Alliance for help. The forest thinned, the turquoise plain emerging, the vanguard a massive scar, smoke still rising. They stopped, panting. Lucas knelt by the wreckage, checking the equipment. The comms are badly damaged, he said, voice low. But fixable, if we find power. Saria touched her armor, retrieving a small, glowing blue crystal. Use this, she said. It holds crystal energy. Lucas nodded, eyes alight with resolve. You're a lifesaver. He worked fast, hands navigating burnt wires, slotting the crystal into the system. Saria stood guard, eyes scanning the forest. A sharp screech sounded, Kryon weapons. They're here, she shouted. Lucas looked up, seeing red flashes through the trees. A few more minutes, he yelled, hands moving faster. Saria raised her hand, nearby crystals glowing, forming a temporary energy shield against the blasts. Hurry, Lucas! She cried, voice trembling. The comms flickered, a weak signal transmitting. Mayday, this is Major Lucas Kane, he shouted. Static crackled, then silence. Lucas slammed the console, heart sinking. But Saria gripped his shoulder, golden eyes steadfast. We'll make it, she said. They fled into the forest, abandoning the vanguard, as Kale's boots thundered closer. Lucas Kane and Saria Velit sprinted across the turquoise plain, the glowing forest shadows fading under the purple light of Kryon's 3 suns. The vanguard's ruins loomed, a mangled heap of metal, its nose buried in the earth, black smoke rising from debris. Lucas knelt by the wreckage, hands flying over the scorched console, heart pounding. The emergency system has some power, he said, voice low. Saria stood beside him, silver armor gleaming, golden eyes scanning for threats. We need to boost the signal, she said, pulling a blue crystal from her armor. Use this. It holds crystal energy. Lucas nodded, resolve blazing. You're a lifesaver. They worked swiftly, Lucas splicing damaged wires, fitting the crystal into the comms, while Saria adjusted frequencies with Kryon knowledge, her fingers dancing like a maestro. A crackle sounded, then a response. This is the Aurora, Earth Alliance. A voice broke through the damaged speaker, intermittent. Lucas gripped the mic. Major Lucas Kane, Vanguard. I've crashed on an alien planet, need immediate support. The voice replied, chilling. Kryon's fleet is approaching your coordinates, with orders to eliminate the outsider threat. Lucas frowned, heart sinking. This is first contact. Send a ceasefire signal, per protocol, he shouted, voice firm. Don't let this become war. Saria touched his shoulder, golden eyes steady. They'll listen, she said softly. Lucas nodded, uncertain, but kept broadcasting, hoping the Aurora understood. A sharp screech cut through. Red light from Kryon weapons flashed across the plain. Kale! Saria shouted, raising her hand to activate nearby crystals, forming a blue energy shield. A Kryon warrior squad charged, led by Kale, Saria's brother, his golden eyes blazing with hatred. No escape, outsider! He roared, firing an energy bolt that tore the ground. Lucas yanked Saria behind a vanguard fragment, heart racing. We have to hold them off, he shouted, grabbing a metal rod as a weapon. Saria nodded, armor shimmering as she manipulated crystals, their glow firing energy at the Kryons. Lucas lunged, smashing the rod into a warrior, knocking his weapon away. Saria kicked another, their teamwork seamless, as if they'd fought together forever. Kale leaped in, his red energy sword slashing down. Lucas rolled, the blade grazing his shoulder, leaving a scorch. He gritted his teeth, kicking Kale's legs, staggering him. Saria charged, blocking Kale's sword with her hand, crystals on her armor blazing. Stop, Kale! She screamed, voice breaking. Kale shoved her back, but a crystal blast from Saria hit his chest. He collapsed, armor cracked, silver blood seeping. Lucas and Saria stood panting, surrounded by unconscious Kryons. Kale clutched his chest, golden eyes dimming, yet still burning with hatred. Saria knelt beside him, hands trembling. Kale, why? She whispered, eyes glistening. Kale's breaths were ragged, voice hoarse. Mother died because of outsiders. The old alliance attacked, burned our city. I swore to protect Kryon. Lucas stood silent, heart heavy. He knew that pain, war had taken his comrades. Saria clasped Kale's hand, voice choked. Lucas isn't the enemy. He saved me. Kale looked at her, then Lucas, his gaze wavering. The council won't forgive, he said weakly. But go, before I change my mind. Saria squeezed his hand, tears streaking her face, her skin's glow fading. Lucas pulled her up, voice firm. Thank you, Kale? Kale turned away, silent. Lucas and Saria fled into the glowing forest, leaving the vanguard and Kale behind. Distant engines roared, Kryon's fleet approaching. Lucas gripped Saria's hand, feeling her warmth. We need a safe place, he said. Saria nodded, golden eyes flickering with hope. The quartz temple, she said. My father's assembly will help. They plunged through shimmering trees, the three purple suns guiding them, carrying fragile hope on the brink of war. Lucas Kane stood on the turquoise plain, the light of Kryon's three purple suns bathing him and Saria Velith in an ethereal glow. Engines roared as the Earth Alliance's Aurora landed, its nose glinting under Kryon's sky. A hatch opened, and Colonel Maria Chin stepped out, her uniform crisp, eyes sharp, scanning the scene. Simultaneously, a Kryon glider convoy arrived, led by Terran Velith, Saria's father, his silver armor gleaming. The Kryon Council, 5 imposing figures with blue skin and golden eyes, disembarked, their presence cold and commanding. Lucas held Saria's hand, feeling the warmth of her shimmering skin. They stood at the divide, representing two worlds, Lucas's heart pounding but voice steady. We're here to talk peace, he declared, blue eyes locking onto Chin and the council. Maria Chin nodded, voice low. Major Kane, you've activated first contact protocol. But Kryon's fleet threatens war. Explain. Lucas took a deep breath, recounting his journey, the Vanguard's crash, saving Saria, their unexpected bond. I saved her because it was right, he said firmly. Compassion isn't a crime, it's humanity's duty. Saria stepped forward, silver armor reflecting the suns. I broke Kryon's laws, she admitted, her melodic voice resolute. But Lucas gave me new strength, my crystal energy grew because of him. This proves interspecies connection isn't a threat, but a path to evolution. She raised her hand, a nearby crystal blazing, vibrating, stirring whispers among the Kryons. Terran stepped forward, golden eyes stern. Council, hear my daughter. This bond is no accident. An elder council member, a blue-skinned woman with silver hair, raised her hand. Ancient crystal energy, she said, her voice like wind through crystal, is a remnant of an alliance with the extinct Zithara. They merged biologically, creating unparalleled power. Saria and this human's bond echoes that alliance. Lucas frowned, mind spinning. You mean we're historical proof? The elder nodded. The outsider bans stemmed from fear of betrayal. Perhaps it's time to reconsider. Tension crackled. A council member, eyes cold, objected. Humans bring war. We can't trust them. Chin countered, voice sharp. The Earth Alliance seeks peace. We're not the old alliance that harmed Kryon. Lucas tightened his grip on Saria's hand, her light spreading to him, faint silver patterns appearing on his skin. Give us a chance, he said, voice low but powerful. Saria and I, we're a bridge. Don't let the past dictate the future. Saria squeezed his hand, golden eyes flashing with hope. Kryon once soared among the stars, she said. We can again. Arguments erupted, voices overlapping. Terran raised his hand, his voice silencing all. The Quartz Assembly has prepared for this day. Lucas Kane is the catalyst we need. Council, vote. After a heavy silence, the elder spoke. We agree to a trial of cultural exchange with Earth. Lucas Kane and Saria Velith will be ambassadors, representing both worlds. Kryon murmurs rose, some angry, but most nodded. Chen smiled faintly. The Alliance will support. Major, you've made us proud. A figure stepped from the Kryon group, Kale, Saria's brother, armor glinting, his chest still scarred from their fight. His golden eyes burned with hatred yet wavered. I don't trust humans, he growled, glaring at Lucas. But for my sister, I'll watch. If Earth betrays, I'll destroy you myself. Saria touched his shoulder, voice choked. Thank you, Kale? He turned away, silent, but his gaze softened slightly. Lucas looked at Saria, feeling their bond's strength. We did it, he whispered. She smiled, her skin's light spreading, a guiding flame. The council dispersed, the Aurora and Kryon ships departing, leaving Lucas and Saria under the purple suns. Hand in hand, they bore the weight of reconciling two worlds, but also the hope of a future where boundaries were no barrier. Lucas Kane and Saria Velith stood atop a crystal mountain, the light of Kryon's 3 purple suns reflecting off the cliffs into dazzling rainbows. Below, Kryon's city sprawled, its sinuous towers shimmering like waves, now bustling with Earth astronauts and Kryons mingling. The Quartz Temple, once forgotten, was restored, its crystal pillars glowing like icy flames, a hub for cultural exchange between worlds. Lucas held Saria's hand, feeling the warmth of her pearlescent blue skin, the faint silver patterns on his arm pulsing like a shared heartbeat. Ambassadors among the stars, he said, voice low, blue eyes meeting hers. Think we're up for it? Saria smiled, her light merging with his, a wordless vow. We broke every law to get here, she whispered, voice melodic. What can't we do? Kryon's wind swept through, carrying the scent of metal and strange wildflowers. Lucas pulled Saria close, their lips meeting in a slow, deep kiss, as if blending the universe itself. Her light enveloped them, the silver patterns on his skin blazing, a sign of their bond beyond boundaries. When they parted, Lucas gazed at the city, heart swelling with what they'd achieved. From the Vanguard's crash, the moment he freed Saria from a trap, to their battle with Kale and tense negotiations with Kryon's council, each step defied fate. We opened a door, he said softly, eyes gleaming with hope. Saria squeezed his hand, golden eyes radiant. Not just for Kryon and Earth, she said, but for all species willing to overcome fear. Below, the Quartz Temple buzzed. Earth scientists, led by Colonel Maria Chin, worked with Kryon engineers to study crystal energy, a relic of the ancient Sithera alliance. The temple's preserved reliefs told of a Kryon that once soared among the stars, and now they were writing a new chapter. Blue-skinned Kryon children ran around astronauts, curiously touching Earth uniforms, laughing at small trinkets. Lucas smiled, recalling the horror in Kryon eyes when he first arrived. They feared me, he said. Saria tilted her head, black hair shimmering in the wind. Now they see you as I do, a life worth trusting. Terran Velith, Saria's father, stood in the temple square, overseeing a seminar between the Quartz Assembly and the Earth Alliance. He nodded to Lucas from afar, golden eyes tinged with pride. Kale, reluctantly present, his silver armor gleaming, still bore a cold gaze but no hatred. He'd vowed to monitor the exchange, and though silent, Lucas knew Saria was slowly changing him. Your brother's stubborn, Lucas said, smirking. Saria laughed softly. He's Kryon. We don't give up easily. Lucas nodded, reflecting on his own journey, from a stranded major to a peace ambassador. Saria taught him compassion wasn't just saving lives, but building trust where fear once reigned. A Kryon glider soared overhead, carrying diplomats from both worlds. Lucas and Saria would soon board the Aurora, embarking on a mission to other planets, spreading their message of cooperation. Ready? Lucas asked, voice teasing. Saria touched his chest, where silver patterns glowed. With you, I'm ready for any star. They stood hand in hand, gazing at Kryon, a world once sealed, now open to the cosmos. Their final kiss, under the crystal mountain's shimmering light, was a promise of a future where humans and Kryons didn't just coexist, but lifted each other to new heights. Their path wasn't easy, but every step proved a truth. Sometimes, breaking the rules is the only way to find light. As the final purple sun set, Lucas and Saria descended the mountain, carrying the hope of two worlds, ready to write the next story among the stars.